Attorney Lynch, thank you for your time today. In 1965, a member of the Senate Labor Committee complained to the chairman of the committee that the new junior senator from New York was getting preferential treatment, and the chairman responded, "I'm not treating Bobby Kennedy any different than I would any other future president of the United States." Did Hillary Clinton receive treatment that was different than others?
She received no treatment different from any other. The only difference in this case is that we have, again, as I've indicated before, provided more information about, at least from the FBI's point of view, the investigative team's thoughts on this.
So if a member of your staff took classified information home, put it on their server, their laptop, nothing would happen to that person?
We would review the matter and come to the appropriate decision. We would look to see at all of the relevant ramifications and see what fit.
So, you know, the meeting on the tarmac with former President Clinton, that was a pretty fortuitous meeting for you, wasn't it?
I would not say that.
Well, it gave you a perfect alibi, because if you had recused yourself, as some have suggested at the outset of this investigation, because you're friends with the Clintons and maybe hope to be Attorney General in her administration, then you wouldn't have, then you could stand here and say, I defer to the FBI director. But you didn't recuse yourself, but now you're using the meeting on the tarmac to basically say, to avoid the appearance of impropriety, I can't answer your question. Isn't that basically what's happened here today?
Congressman, I would not say it was fortuitous for me or for anyone. It led me to take, again, another unusual step in this case.
But that's what's happened today. In fact, I knew you weren't going to answer our questions today. And I apologize for wasting so much time here, because it's really not been very productive. And I asked my staff to count the number of times today you would say, I can't answer that question, or refuse to give an appropriate response. It's happened 74 times so far. So really, you know, it's either one of two things. Either you're saying that because you want to avoid the appearance of impropriety, in which case you should have recused yourself, or you're trying to protect Hillary Clinton. So my colleague, Mr. Smith, asked earlier if you had talked with Bill or Hillary about serving as Attorney General in Hillary's administration. Have you talked to any of their staff?
No, I have not.
Have you talked to anyone on their transition team? I know they're talking to people.
I have not spoken to anyone on either the campaign or transition or any staff members affiliated with them.
Do you want to be Attorney General?
My focus is on being the Attorney General throughout the remainder of this administration and dealing with the issues that I've discussed here, particularly my focus on law enforcement and community relations and national security as represented by the Department's work in the most recent tragic actions facing this country. Also, my work involving vulnerable victims and human trafficking. My focus is on making sure that the resources and assets of the Department of Justice are dedicated towards those important goals, particularly when it comes to individuals who feel at odds or left out or somehow cut out of our society, and therefore are in a situation where their relationship of trust with law enforcement and government.
Thank you, General. I'm going to reclaim my time. Why did you tell the FBI security detail not to have any cameras or phones when you met with President Clinton on the plane?
I didn't make any comments about cameras or phones or anything.
So no one directed the security detail not to take any pictures or anything like that? I
did not. I didn't make any comments about cameras or phones or anything.
So last week, Director Comey, I think when he was being questioned by Mr. Gowdy, said that Hillary Clinton didn't tell the truth when she said that she turned over all the emails, that all the emails had been reviewed by her lawyers, that nothing was classified, that she only had one device. And he was quite pointed in his comments that she wasn't telling the truth about all of those matters and other issues. Do you think she told the truth?
You know, I'm not privy to the reasoning on that. My understanding is that after that exchange, the committee was going to decide whether or not to make a referral. If that were the case, the matter would be reviewed and looked at, and it would be not appropriate to go into it until then.
But you didn't recuse yourself, so you're really using that meeting on the tarmac as a way to avoid answering your questions. Isn't that what's happening here? You're saying it to avoid the appearance of impropriety.
I have talked about my conversation with former President Clinton as a way to explain how it would have no impact on the case. And I felt it was important to explain that because I had earlier decided that I would be accepting the team's recommendation, but that also we didn't talk about anything involving cases or the investigation itself. The conversation was, as I've noted earlier, primarily personal and on his part. We've taken that unusual step so that there would not be a view that there would be any influence on that, on this matter at all.
And you've used that to not answer our questions today.
I've answered your questions. If you have more, I'm happy to hear them.
Let's segue to the 3 mortgage settlements for billions and millions of dollars where in excess of $500 million was basically put into a slush fund to be steered towards liberal community service groups. Any more information on whether the attorneys at DOJ that were involved in mandating money not be steered towards conservative groups, are any repercussions for that?
Congressman, with respect to the issue of the settlements that were crafted in some of the residential mortgage-backed securities resolutions, I believe that our staffs have had discussions about that. We have provided information to answer questions about that. I believe we're working to provide more information. Again, let us know if there are additional questions there. Those settlements were, in fact, under the FIREA statute, did generate large fines that went to the U.S. Treasury. And payments to other groups were not of government funds, but they went to organizations that have helped literally tens of thousands of Americans modify mortgages and bring their homes out from being underwater.
Sure.
And allow them to keep their homes, which is the consumer relief that we were hoping we could effectuate through these settlements.
And the settlement probably violated the Miscellaneous Receipts Act, but that's a discussion for another time. Thank you, General. I yield back my time.